Yes, people, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are all doing well. What a rubbish week it has been for Manchester United fans. And it could be about to get worse. We've got back-to-back away trips against FC Porto and Aston Villa. And I gotta say, confidence, optimism is at an all-time low for this season. And it's just the first week of October. How did we get to this position so quickly? Well, we know how. That abysmal performance against Tottenham and the fact that so far this season, out of the 8-9 games we've played, we've only managed to beat Fulham, Southampton and of course Barnsley in the League Cup. It's not been good stuff from Manchester United, and whilst those early games there were glimmers of hope, there were glimmers of a team kind of coming together. You looked at that Crystal Palace game, the 0-0, where you thought on another day Manchester United win this 3 or 4-0. It left us feeling a little bit optimistic despite some of the results. But that performance against Spurs left no one in doubt that a manager is in serious pressure, is under serious pressure, and in big trouble at the moment. And some are saying these next two games could become pivotal. And I'll tell you why I hate that kind of thing. Because it's similar to when, remember the FA Cup final? And before the FA Cup final, it was all, if he wins this game, he's still going to be in charge of Man United. And I thought he should keep the job whether we win that or lose that, if that's your opinion. And he should lose the job whether we win that or lose that, if that's your opinion. Like, the board shouldn't be basing their decisions on 90 minutes of football. And that could be said about Spurs as well. Of course, it could be said about that. You don't want to base a decision just off a bad 90 minutes of football as well. But it does annoy me when they go, well, 2 games to save yourself. Because if we draw against Porto and draw against Villa, does that mean everything's okay? If we manage to get a win against Porto and draw against, is that okay? If we lose against Porto, beat Villa, is that, like, why is that okay? Surely you should be looking at the bigger picture rather than 90 minutes or 180 minutes here and there. And I thought against Spurs, like, we'll wait and see what the performances are like against Porto and against Villa. But I thought against Spurs, it was pretty abysmal. And it didn't look like a team that were playing for each other, playing for the badge, playing for the manager. It just looked like a team that was so disjointed. We didn't see any glimpses of that good football we saw against Crystal Palace. We didn't create those chances. We looked far too open in terms of that midfield and that defensive area. And it was far too easy for Spurs to get at us. That was even before the red card. And interestingly, check this out for how annoying and stupid this is. Manchester United have won their appeal of Bruno Fernandes's red card against Spurs. He is now available for the next 3 games. Can you believe this? In a world where we have VAR, in a world where you can go to an assistant referee who's watching it on video, who can look at all these different angles, in that kind of world, why the hell do we need a red card to be overturned? It should be overturned during the game. Now, I thought when it initially happened, I thought, oh my God, that's a red card. Because you see him slip, you see him put his leg up. But then when you watch the replay, you go, never a red card. I needed one replay to see it was never a red card. So how the hell have these lot come to this decision and decided to stick with the red card decision? And whilst I'll say it, we were shit. We didn't look like we did even with 11 men. If you go in at half time 1-0, 11 against 11, you never know what happens in that second half. We've seen it before. Jekyll and Hyde Manchester United turn up in the second half. But once you're down to 10 men, there's no chance. No chance. And it's just baffling to me that, and some people get onto VAR when you think, yeah, it's a bit daft. You're complaining about the most minutest of things. Or why are they taking 5 seconds to clarify a goal? Stupid things like, why are they checking that? Well, because it could be a penalty. They need to check it. I have these debates with Boovy quite a lot. But this kind of stuff is fucking ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense. How you could see that 2 days later on the same replays you were watching 2 days ago during the game and decide now it's not a red card. It was never a red card. Never ever a red card. And ultimately impacted the result. Even if, like me, you think we were crap, we were never winning that game. Ultimately it had an impact on the result. Now straight after that red card, we've seen Kobbie Mainoo withdrawn from the game, and that was with an injury. But Kobbie Mainoo has been pictured taking part in the training ahead of that Europa League game against FC Porto. So he's back in the mix and his injury isn't too bad. So thank God for that. Mason Mount's unable to train as a precaution because of concussion rules. Whether he'll be available for the weekend or not, I don't really know. But he's not training at the moment because of those concussion rules. Now, few stories on the manager's position that are also out at the moment, and that's the big story at the minute. Erik ten Hag knows Manchester United's next 2 games will decide his fate. Despite the claim from the club, the hierarchy are still backing him, and that come from Disco in the Mirror, and also from the Mail. We hear Manchester United players expect Erik ten Hag to be sacked. Although he still has the support of the dressing room, there is a growing feeling among the players that he cannot stop the rot and that change is inevitable. Well, first things first, the players need to just fucking play. Play for yourselves, first and foremost. Now, I know a manager has a huge impact on how a team plays, has a huge impact on their mentality, the confidence they go onto the pitch with, the game plan they go onto the pitch with. And you can argue at times the game plan isn't setting up some of our players to get the best out of them. Casemiro, Ugarte looked really, really bad against Tottenham. And he starts to make you think, is that just because of the way we're playing? Can't be they're both crap, can it? Maybe they are, I don't know. But, you know, it just feels like maybe it's the way we're playing. But the players should be pulling their fingers out regardless. And if, as they say in this, he still retains the support of the dressing room, although the performance against Spurs screams otherwise, then, yeah, it's really, really odd. But the players expecting the manager to be sacked, to be honest, I feel like we're heading towards that now. I really do feel like we're heading towards that. And I can't see us. You know me, guys. I'm usually optimistic. I'm usually always thinking the best thing can happen. 21's always coming and all that kind of stuff. But I'm really pessimistic about where the hell we're going this week. And I can see there being a change in the international break. So whilst the players also kind of see that coming, I can feel that coming as well. Erik ten Hag said, "We are going to make a success from this season. Mark my words. In May, in all my last 6 seasons, there were always trophies here at Man United. I've proven in my career that always I will win. The last 6 years, I have 8 trophies." Unfortunately, though, Manchester United managers aren't just judged on their cup runs. Manchester United should be a good cup team regardless anyway. You know, because you think about all the players that we sign and, you know, you'd think we should be able to win a string of 7-8 games to win a trophy. The litmus test and the main test and what you're really judged on is the Premier League and the Champions League when we're in it. And ultimately, we've not been cutting it in the Premier League. And those words do feel like the last throw of a dice, trying to regain any confidence in the team that he has, trying to regain any confidence in the board around him. And like I said on the overlap, I can see Ruud van Nistelrooy being our manager by Christmas. That's really where it's got to. Maybe even before that. Maybe even after these 2 games. But if the players are really behind him, go out and get some results in, because we can beat these. I don't want to hear about injuries. Injuries aren't an excuse. We've got enough players and enough good players to be playing better than we are and getting better results than we are. It's as simple as that. Anyway, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure you're liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing. Will ten Hag survive these next 2 games? Will he be here after the international break? Let us know in the comments, and I'll see you soon.